Telling stories around a campfire has been traditionally passed down for generations, and of course with the internet being as prevalent as it is, campfire stories warranted an upgrade. Enter creepypastas, which are essentially just that, online campfire stories. And since creepypastas have been a thing since at least 2002, I feel like a lot of the creepypastas we've come to love today are kind of outdated, and some may say need a rewrite. So today I've gathered the top 5, technically 6, creepypastas that I believe deserve a rewrite. Now why did I say technically 6? Well, you'll see later. Also, first ever proper video recording on my new microphone. I hope it sounds good. Anyways, let's get on to the number 5 spot. Coming in at the number 5 spot, we have Red Mist. Now this is coming in at the number 5 spot, really only because certain parts of the story need to be rewritten. Out of the 5 or I guess 6 stories on this countdown, this is the one with the least amount of problems. Hence why it is at number 5. But nevertheless, it does deserve a rewrite. My main problem with this story is definitely the gore and hyperrealism stuff towards the end. And don't even get me started on the freaking child murder. No story should really incorporate that for shock value. But this story up until that point really wasn't that bad. Take out all of the hyper-realistic stuff, tone down the gore and other things, and of course remove anything to do with murdering of kids and anything like that. And you've got a pretty decent story if you do all of that. So all in all, ultimately, the story does have quite a few problems, and it only really deserves a partial rewrite. And that is why Red Mist, or the other name you know, deserves to be at number 5. Coming in at the number 4 spot, we have Eyeless Jack. Now, Eyeless Jack is one of my personal least favourite creepypastas, and my issues with the story are 3. 1. The main character is ridiculous. Like, the decisions the main character makes, I don't think somebody with an IQ of negative 400 would make. Secondly, maybe flush out Jack more as a character. We literally know nothing about him, and we have no idea why he goes out and steals kidneys. It's just so random, without a hint of explanation. And it's not even one of those smart things either, where it can be left up to the viewer's interpretation. It's just kind of thrown in there for no reason. And number 3, I'm just not a fan of the ending ultimately. Just that typical cliche of the murderer just waving as you drive away from the scene. We've seen this trope repeated several times in other creepypastas. It's just not original, and I definitely felt like Eyeless Jack with some tweets could definitely be an alright story. But as it stands, I believe Eyeless Jack deserves a rewrite, henceforth putting it as the number 4 spot. Taking home the bronze medal at number 3 is a tie between Enough is Enough and Max and Ruby 0004. Both of these stories are honestly equally as bad as each other. But let's get on to Enough is Enough. What can I say about the story that I like? The beginning. That's pretty much it. As soon as the episode begins playing, it just goes on a in terms of quality. First of all, the whole plot of Enough's Enough literally does not make sense in terms of the Loud House universe. Why would Lincoln just snap and go on a killing spree against his sisters for what? Luann playing a bunch of jokes. It's just Luann as well, it's none of the other sisters. Literally, the only way this plot could end up working is if the sisters, all of them, including the parents and maybe even some of Lincoln's friends, all collectively join in to taunt and make fun of Lincoln to the point that he goes crazy. Oh, and the gore and cringeworthy dialogue, oh boy. Where do we start with this one, folks? Sleep tight, Lynn, you're free. And now, as cringy as that was, me putting my microphone so close to my mouth and that voice, yeah, that's pretty much the exact dialogue Lincoln says after he kills Lynn. Like, what the fuck? It's pretty stupid, don't you think? And of course, it has to end with Lincoln pulling a hangman and just ending up with him dying. Max and Ruby 0004 really doesn't fare that much better, to be honest. Death is our only release. Plus, just finding every cliche, the name of the episodes or whatever being written on with the infamous black marker, the weird coloured eyes, everything, man. Max and Ruby 0004 is just a copy and paste of all the other cliches of creepypasta, all forged and amalgamated into one. Overall, these two stories are as bad as each other in terms of rewritability, henceforth them both sharing the number 3 spot. Taking home the silver medal for the number 2 spot, we have Jeff the Killer. Now Jeff the Killer, I mean, what is there to say that hasn't already been said already? It's just a generic horrible slasher film in creepypasta format ultimately. There are so many things I'd like to change about this story that I really can't list a lot of them. Well, for what, flush out Jeff more, maybe explore him fighting with his psychology, and you know, trying to resist the urge to murder instead of just, oh hey, I got into a traumatic incident, suddenly I want to kill everyone. There is no transition and it is absolutely jarring. Not to mention the ending line of go to sleep. Like really? You could have thought of anything better than go to sleep. I feel like there also should be more set up in the beginning. Maybe show more of Jeff's school life. Maybe show that he's gone under more and more bullying than just the group of people we see. You know, maybe explore some more stuff of him moving into the town, and then just seeing his brain slowly become more and more crazy and more psychotic the more the story goes on. Jeff the Killer really needs a lot of work done, and definitely deserves a complete rewrite, even though I am aware there are rewrites and remasters of Jeff the Killer, which is why it takes the number 2 spot. But yeah, not a fan of Jeff the Killer. However, the number 1 spot is arguably worse. And what is that number 1 spot? It's Cupcakes. Cupcakes, well, can you even call it a story? No. The answer is no. There is no story in Cupcakes. Well, there is. 2 seconds. Pinkie Pie wants to invite Rainbow Dash over to Sugar Cube Corner. That's pretty much all we get, folks. The story is just gore. Literally just gore, nothing else. And also the reason Pinkie Pie goes after Rainbow Dash, there is no reason. She literally doesn't even say anything other than, oh, your number came up, I don't make the rules. Like, what the hell does that mean? They don't explain anything of why Rainbow Dash is in the situation. And don't get me started on the fucking details. This story, whoever wrote this definitely must have some kind of gore fetish or whatever the hell. Because, oh my god, the amount of detail is cringe-inducing. Any freaking B-movie horror doesn't even go into this much detail. This story, if you could even call it that, deserves a complete and utter rework. Nothing in this story is enjoyable in my opinion. It is literally just murder for the sake of murder, with no purpose or reason. I mean, to be honest, like, we can't even go into specifics with Cupcakes of what to change to make it better, because really there's just one thing. Give it an actual story. So yeah, the reason why Cupcakes is at number 1 is for the fact that no matter how bad the other stories were in the entry, they were at least a story, they had some kind of plot. But with Cupcakes, nah, we're gonna be different. We're gonna murder Rainbow Dash for the sake of murdering. Go into disturbing detail with literally no purpose. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and it did kind of turn into a little mini rant towards the end. If you enjoyed the list, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you're always notified of my videos, and comment down below. Do you think some other creepypasta should have been on the list? How about you give me your own list in the comments section? But for now, that is all, and take care my dorks.